Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to The Return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. I'm Maria Cribbs.
And I am Josh Cribbs. Welcome.
Welcome it's
back.
Another wonderful day. Josh, I just want to put this out there. Sorry that I woke you up out your sleep this morning.
I appreciate that.
You want to know what happens?
No.
So I woke up.
I just want to stop being woke up in my sleep, Ryan. Like, how do you like to get...
I called myself making some tacos last night, right? And then, right before I went to bed, I was like, I did buy some Flamin' Hot Cheetos from, Flamin' Hot Funyuns.
Is that what it was? Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, you forgot?
I did. I meant to ask you about that. It was like you was pregnant all over again.
I woke up in the middle of the night hurling. So
she woke up like she was out till 3 in the morning,
yeah.
Ryan. Like it was Patron and mixing Hennessy with Patron. Like she was
porcelain god I was calling upon. Josh.
In the middle of the night, Maria was... I was like... I was awakened like a baby, startled.
I tried to mix Flamin' Hot Cheetos, tacos, and Molly's chocolate.
Why would you do that? We're not
Because
children.
I thought I was still like a teenager.
We're not Ryan's age.
I know. Ryan, that would do nothing to you, would it? Ryan be like, that'd be perfectly fine.
His stomach would gobble that up.
Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's Tuesday for
So
Ryan.
Anyway, I got a slight headache, but I'm doing all right. Viewers, we hope wherever you're watching us from, you are having an amazing day. Now, this weekend, we were at the Hoban versus St. Ed's game.
Right.
And my mother called our phone with some sad news.
Yes.
Yeah.
We heard about that. The passing of Jim Donovan.
Yeah.
Jimmy Donovan, the voice of the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately, when your mom called, I looked at my phone during the game and I was like, and it had just broke 5 minutes. And I was very, very sad to hear that. I tried to catch up with Jimmy one more time at the Browns Legends. Of induction with Phil Dawson and Jim, but he was unable to make it.
Yeah.
And this past, yesterday on WKYC Channel 3, which Jimmy has been a part of because he's been a voice of the Browns for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
And we had a tribute to Jim Donovan. It was myself, Mary Kay Cabot, and a host of other prominent journalists in the city of Cleveland, as well as Doug Deacon, who served with him in the booth, and Bernie Kosar. So we all kind of gave our remembrances and tributes to Jim Donovan, and it kind of hit the city hard a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
I think it hit home to the players as well. They dedicated the game to Jim Donovan, which was just an amazing opportunity to show their love for him, because it was one of those games against the Ravens that we didn't pick this down as a win, Ryan, and we were looking from this game for it to be, just show us something improving, show us some improvement. And a lot of fans just said, man, that was for Jimmy. They wanted for Jim, for Donovan there.
Right.
So for him to be the only non-player inducted into the Cleveland Browns Legends, I think that's an awesome induction, an awesome honor, because a lot of people commentate the game, and they're exciting in their own way, but they didn't induct those guys.
Not like Jimmy,
other
though.
teams. Nobody was like Jimmy. So our condolences to Jimmy and his family. May he rest in peace.
Josh, I had to look up. Remember, we were talking yesterday when you were telling me you were about to go do the tribute.
Yes, I remember.
I was like, no, I think Jimmy from Cleveland. He always so passionate about the Browns. I had to look up where he was from, because I will tell you this: on a few occasions when I was late to your games, I think
more
I
than a few, I might say. Go ahead.
Well, I would have the privilege of listening to him on the radio, and he would announce the game, or he would commentate the game with so much passion and enthusiasm. It was like you could visualize it. He was so the way he was so detailed and explaining every play and what's going on, and like the scenery and the weather, you could visualize the game. So I was late, but because of Jimmy, I was still on top of it because he would keep me play by play. Yeah.
And for a lot of people, I watched the game, Ryan, on my phone, and when Jimmy will be commentating the game on the radio, I would look at it on my phone and turn it down and turn it up on the radio, turn it down on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it and just so I can hear Jimmy's voice. Even for my highlights, and I told our audience this before, I search for the play calls when Jimmy is announcing my returns over other journalists. So, it's no doubt.
He coined you the great Josh Cribbs.
Yeah, the great Josh Cribbs. And I always loved that, man. Yeah. So he holds a special place in my heart. And I was hoping that Jimmy would be able to make it, that I would be able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he bring me out. And he would be my announcer into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So hopefully I still get in at one day, 1 year, and I have the opportunity to remember him during that moment.
Yeah.
So that was just special for us.
Yeah, so our condolences out to his family, and I guess we got to take a break and come back and talk about that win that the Browns had.
We got to talk about the Browns.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, you guys, welcome back to the show. Now, Josh, let's get into the game.
Hey, we got to get into it. The Browns beat the Baltimore Ravens. So the elephant in the room, Ryan, and we got to bring you into this discussion.
Do it.
Bring them out.
Jameis famous Winston, the people's champ.
Yes, sir.
Right? The person who everyone was calling for showed up and showed out. Jameis Winston, and we're going to go over, Ken Dorsey, and we got some things we're going to go down the line with. But Jameis Winston finally led our team over the 20-point threshold. We were the only NFL team not to score 20 points in the season. 20 points. He not only did that, he threw for a whopping 334 yards. First QB, Deshaun didn't do it. We got to give him his flowers off the break. 3 TDs, passer rating of 113. Okay. What say you, Ryan? Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
What say you, Ryan?
With Jameis Winston at the QB spot?
Yeah, I'll say it was everything I thought it was going to be and then some. I forgot what it was like to see somebody brown and orange eclipse 300 yards. It's been since Joe Flacco played for the Cleveland Browns, and it was amazing to see. And listen, we'll get into the Deshaun talk, but just at the bare bones of it, what Jameis Winston was able to do was just huge for his career as a revitalization standpoint, huge for the Browns as their season, potential revitalization standpoint. It was massive, and you could feel the energy. You could see the players happy. You saw Elijah Moore eclipse 80 yards. You saw Jerry Jeudy get involved. You saw Cedric Tillman look like an NFL receiver for the first time in his career. Now that he's given that opportunity, that Amari Cooper's gone. And it's just amazing to see how every aspect of the offense is improved when you have a competent quarterback that's getting the ball out quick and getting it out on target.
That's good. That's interesting that you mentioned the supporting cast. I want to talk about something that came up in the X world. And Maria and Ryan, I gotta get your take on this.
Yep.
A lot of people said that the players are playing for Jameis Winston, and they weren't playing for Deshaun Watson.
Why would they do that?
The blocking was there because look, there was no one-on-one stunts that was confusing to our offensive line. Jeudy did drop a pass, but hey, they was catching them for the most part. They was catching balls. Yes, they jumped all sides, but everything was smoother as a team. Everything. Do we believe that this team at all, because I want to nip it in the bud, do we believe this team at all was not playing for Deshaun Watson and now they were playing for Jameis Winston?
No, I honestly think it's ludicrous. Don't get me wrong. I think there's something to, and you see this a lot of times when a head coach gets fired midseason and a new coach comes in and you play with a new fire, you play with a new purpose. We saw that with Antonio Pierce and the Raiders last year. So certainly with Jameis coming in, there's a new fire, a new hope. But no, listen, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that as soon as Jameis Winston comes in, you crack the 20-point mark, almost the 30-point mark. It's not a coincidence that you look like a real NFL offense. It's not a coincidence that you beat what I thought was the best team in football coming into that game in the Baltimore Ravens. It's not a coincidence that you look like an NFL team like we expected. Okay, Jameis Winston came out and delivered exactly what he thought he was going to do, and I was more than impressed with him, and I'm excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season. Listen, the playoffs might be too far gone at this point. Obviously, there's a chance, but I'm just happy we get to watch an offense that doesn't make you want to tear your eyes out.
Not tear your eyes out, but Maria, so looking at it as not having such football experience as far as like, the X's and O's.
Yeah.
To see a team just have a night and day transformation. And to hear that statement that, maybe the players weren't playing for Deshaun Watson.
No.
What is your take on that?
I
Do you
think
think they did that?
I think the players are all true professionals. They were going to play 100%, no matter who was at the helm. I would have to change the question and ask you as a player, would you do that? Say you get a new coach. I don't like him. I don't like the way he's talking to me. So I'm going to go out here and not perform. Aren't you always concerned about your stats and your performance? I don't think with Deshaun Watson being here or not, I feel like the players would still play the same. What I'm going to attribute to this win, and I will say this, I'm going to need a couple more games until I'm back locked in, because the Browns be treating you like that ex that you be letting y'all on and off, and all right, I'm gonna give him he coming back, he trying to do the right thing,
right,
but let me just see how hard he gonna come.
Consistency.
Yeah, so I'm
Marie
let me just I need a few more weeks, a few more games. I'm saying this win, they went hard because Jimmy Donovan. That's just what it is. That was the energy in the room.
I like it. So let's dispel the notion that the players didn't play for
They wouldn't
Deshaun.
do that.
I think there are some personalities in the league in years prior that you could say that guy was definitely not playing for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Some receivers man, I ain't going in the game for him.
And Josh, I'm sure you can attest to this, and I'm sure what I'm about to say, there will be names that pop in your head. And listen, this isn't anything towards Deshaun, but Jameis Winston, the energy he gives off, the vibrations, the message, that's somebody you want to go to war with. That's somebody you want to give all because you see he's giving his all, right? There's certain players that just help everybody else on the team get up. And I think Jameis Winston is the perfect example of that, both off the field and especially on the field.
Not just that, and stay with that same line of thought of helping other players, like LeBron does, like Jordan did. That's why I still know the name Tony Kukoc. Guys who played with Jordan, I wouldn't even know their names, not being in the same city as them, that he elevated, right? Tom Brady did the same thing with guys on his squad, not having superstars all around him, elevating certain guys. We didn't think Tillman could be that guy. I always was high on him. But certain guys didn't have, they felt like Cedric Tillman wasn't going to be that guy. He elevated him. He elevated him to the point where I think now that he's getting the rock like he is, the production like he is, he might work himself into a number one guy. He keeps catching the football. The targets are going to be there because guess what? Jameis Winston was throwing with him being the number 2 quarterback, the backup guy. Cedric Tillman was his number 1 and on the field,
right?
Because Amari Cooper and David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy was Watson's one, so they practiced with them all the time. And when you look at the continuity and just the comfortability that Cedric was running routes for Jameis Winston, it's undeniable. I think he can be a number 1 on this team. I think that the production will stay with Cedric, and I want to see your thoughts on that. Do you think that they will lead him even in his success more towards a Jeudy, or try to build on the momentum of Cedric Tillman having the most targets?
Yeah, listen, you paid Jerry Jeudy to essentially be the number 1 wide receiver, knowing you were going to be without Amari Cooper this year. It ended up being sooner than later. But listen, the Browns aren't gonna force that. If Cedric Tillman's the one that steps up, we're talking about a 2nd-round draft pick here. If he's going to be the guy that elevates it, then they're not going to complain about that. You just need someone to replace that Amari Cooper role. And what Cedric Tillman did on Sunday with Jameis Winston was incredible. He had limited opportunities before that. Obviously, He's had some troubles rookie year. We saw him potentially was running the wrong routes, miscommunication with Joe Flacco, didn't have an amazing start to this year. But now that he finally got that opportunity to go out there and prove that he can be that number 1 receiver, he's off to a hell of a start. And you saw that connection there with Jameis, and that's a great point, Josh, is the fact that they were the 2s, right? They weren't starting. Jameis Winston was throwing to Cedric Tillman all camp. And that's great. And I hope it continues, because I was hard on Cedric Tillman.
Right.
But I'm glad to see he had this opportunity and he absolutely ran with it.
And he's running with it. And one more thing. And when we break down Jameis Winston before we move on, he was throwing guys open. So I think the way that Jameis sees the field is different in the aspect that he had to throw guys open when they weren't getting the separation. So one guy in particular, the touchdown he threw to David Njoku, the DB was underneath David Njoku. But there's always a mismatch with David Njoku, who's bigger, he's stronger and faster than any of the safeties and DBs, and he's faster than the linebackers. So he threw it to him while he was covered. The guy was underneath him, and he was forced David Njoku to use athletic ability to get off without pushing off, and made a tremendous catch in the end zone. Is that going to be an issue with Jameis Winston? We said a lot of positives, Maria and Ryan, and for our viewers. But there were so many opportunities, not to be a pessimist, that this game could have definitely went the other way very fast. The Ravens dropped several picks throughout the course of this game that could have been tremendously bad for our team as far as getting back into this game and maintaining the momentum, and that could have ended it, especially at the end. Is that going to be a problem? Because we know what Jameis Winston did in the past. Do you think he'll get even better and we won't see that? Because I think a little bit of it is needed in order for him to keep throwing to these guys and throw them open. Do you think that's going to be a problem? Possibly throwing interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you without a doubt, I guarantee that stuff's going to happen again because that's who Jameis Winston is. And listen, what's the main difference we saw on Sunday with Jameis Winston on the field versus Deshaun Watson was you were completing balls 20 yards down the field. Now, should he have had a couple picks, Jameis Winston I'm talking about? Yeah, of course he could have. But the NFL, I mean, it's so live and die by the margins, right? You need a quarterback that's not afraid to go sling it, go trust his receivers, not be terrified to make a mistake. That's how you get offense. It's why we crack 20 points. And I mean, there's going to be quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, although not really this season, that are just that brand of player where they do that and they don't turn the ball over. Listen, but you're talking about one-of-a-kind quarterbacks, right? That's not what the Browns need out of Jameis Winston. And we talked about this. Go back to the season.
Right.
We didn't need this top 5 quarterback play. We were asking for mid-level quarterback play, and that's what you're going to get out of Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he
and you actually see your players develop and ascend to a level that you expected, like Cedric, like Jerry Jeudy, like Elijah Moore, like David Njoku, because you have a quarterback that's giving them the opportunity and he's trusting them to go make a play. That's what you have to do in the NFL.
Right. But would you say that this was above average? This was above
100%. You were 300 yards, 0 turn, or he had the fumble, but no picks and 3 touchdowns. That was top 5 quarterback play that week.
I know he threw me off when he said that subpar a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Well, he means that. And I know what he meant.
I know what he meant too.
But they needed to have, overall, the Browns, considering our defense. I just said this. If our offense moves the ball, keep our defense off the field, keep them healthy, keep them, relaxed, the defense will play up to their ability.
Exactly.
They shouldn't need it, but they do. And when the defense does, when the offense is playing well, the defense plays tremendously. Look at what they did to Derrick Henry. They did the same thing to him when he came here last year when he was with the Tennessee Titans. Look how they bottled up the Baltimore Ravens offense, who scores 30 on any given Sunday.
Right.
30 points. And they're a top-ranked offense in the NFL. Look what they did to them. I said this from day one, beginning of the week last week, that this was a trap game for Baltimore. I don't think they were prepared at all for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I don't think I thought they believed that we were defeated and we were out. But on the strength of Jim Donovan and Jameis Winston and these guys playing their hearts out, we went out there and got a victory. And with that, we'll take a commercial break.
Be right back. All right, now you guys, welcome back to the show. Now, this segment is brought to you by no other than Affinity Whole Health. Now, Affinity Whole Health offers personalized treatment plans to help people feel better. They are the experts in semaglutide for weight loss therapy and testosterone replacement therapy. Affinity has been around since 2012 and has helped nearly 10,000 patients. Their team can help you get more energy, increase muscle, lose weight, and keep it off with the injectable semaglutide. Now, it's quick and easy to get started. Infinity has 2 local offices and 2-day delivery treatments that go and get shipped straight to your doorstep. So don't wait any longer. Click the link in our show's clips to set up your free consultation, and you can check them out at their website by going to affinityWholeHealth.com. Josh?
Right. Yes.
What's going on?
You know what's going on. We getting back into the Browns. Ken Dorsey.
Still more Browns, right?
Ken Dorsey was your play caller, Ryan.
Yes, he was.
Ken Dorsey.
How'd you guys like that?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Ken Dorsey? I have a lot of thoughts. Real quick, I thought he did really good job. I think for us, Ryan, I think under the center, with a guy like Jameis, even when we did it with Deshaun Watson, I think it was very effective for us as a team. 2 tight end sets sometime, but underneath center and mixing that up a bit, and it boded well for the running ability of Nick Chubb because he's getting better. He's finding his hole, and he's keeping our offense on track. How did you think Ken Dorsey did overall with his play calling?
I thought he did a great job. I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, look at it. They finally cracked 20 points like we talked about, nearly 30. And listen, I didn't see much deviation from what a Kevin Stefanski supposed to be offense looked like, right? The pieces are coming together. You got the quarterback under center. He's utilizing his tight ends. You saw Njoku get involved like Flacco had him playing the best of his career he's ever done. Nick Chubb, the play action certainly works when you have a running back that they have to be afraid of, and you see the vision coming back with him. It's going to be a long road, but with the Nick Chubb, I'm sure he'll make it very quick back to the Nick Chubb of old that we love. I think he did a great job. I didn't love the decision of Kevin Stefanski to give it up, but if it offers Stefanski the ability to oversee the game more from a head coach point of view, clean up the penalties, the slop, I'm all for it, and credit to Ken Dorsey for doing it.
I'm agreeing with you wholeheartedly.
Why were y'all not fans of it?
No, just because we know that Kevin Stefanski overall, he's a good coach.
Right.
No matter if you have a bad game here and there, he just signed another contract.
But aren't there several great coaches that don't do the play calling?
Yes.
So why?
But there are several. But he's been calling the plays, and we went to a few playoffs because of it. He's elevated a guy like Baker Mayfield. He's elevated a guy like Joe Flacco to be, Joe Flacco of the old, the Flacco fever. So he's done some great things in recent years past.
So let me just ask you the same question that you asked with Deshaun Watson not being at the helm anymore and having Jameis Winston up in there and seeing the players do a great job with Winston controlling the offense. Would y'all are you going to ask the question about Stefanski not doing the play calling and now
that is the question.
Ken Dorsey? Oh, it is.
Yeah, the question,
okay.
So the question right now is,
I mean, you got to ask, you're right?
Well, I'm simply, I'm breaking it down, as it relates to Ken Dorsey, because we talked about Jameis Winston. And one thing about Ken Dorsey that I saw from last week that people would have got mad at Coach Stefanski if he would have did this. He had one bad play call, I would say, throughout the game, or decision-making, was right before half. And I think it was not being in Jameis Winston's ear when that turnover happened. 3rd and long, and we turned the ball over. With a slight chance to go down the field to score or to kick a field goal, we turned the ball over and gave them a score. That could have been detrimental. That could have been a place where we could have said that's where we lost the game, that play call. So you were so right in saying, Ryan, the play calling, the style was just like Kevin Stefanski. But the plays, the difference was the plays called at different points of the game and how he called those plays and when he called those plays. Those type of things mattered, and it was different, I think, from Coach Kevin Stefanski moving forward. So I have to. This is my next question. This is the big question. The biggest impact from the game, Ryan, Maria, do you think that it was Ken Dorsey, the play calling, or Jameis famous Winston?
You know who I'm
over
going
Deshaun?
with. I'm going with Jameis famous Winston.
And I just threw that
and it's only because he's a God-fearing man. He always gives
pastor.
God the glory.
Yes.
So sometimes, I don't know. I feel like Jameis, I don't know him personally. I just feel like he's one of those guys who he might actually sit around the locker room after, everybody's off work and actually talk to people. He knows about their family, their kids. So when you say he's someone that comes in and he elevates the team,
right?
He probably wants to give, Judy the passes. So I know what you can do. Like, come on, man, let me feed you this ball. Let me elevate you. You know what I mean? Yep. It takes a special person because sometimes, certain players, they young, they want to get back on the streets. They want to hurry up and get off work. Even how you are at your job, you want to hurry up and clock out and get on with your day. And I feel like Jameis Winston is one of those guys who probably or just has that team bonding, team building type mentality that makes the players want to play with him. And that's why I think they had so much success.
Ryan, what say you?
Yeah, I'll just say this. If it wasn't Deshaun Watson's Achilles injury that was going to be the reason Deshaun Watson will never start another game for the Cleveland Browns, then it was Jameis Winston going in on Sunday and showing what he was able to do with the offense. That would be the nail in the coffin, because you finally saw the benefits of Jerry Jeudy, of Elijah Moore, who before that was basically missing. Right. You saw David Njoku show shades of the second half David Njoku with Joe Flacco last season. You saw the offense clicking on all cylinders, and when that happens, it makes your special teams play better. It makes your defense play better, like we just talked about. I mean, listen, Ken Dorsey called a great game, and I give him all the credit in the world, but there's no bones about it, no way to look around it other than Jameis Winston coming in at quarterback made all the difference for that team. I hope not just that game, but I hope the rest of the season, and I'm really confident that it very well could.
It looked the offense ran smoother. I say that you can't have one without the other. And I say that because I cannot stand up here and not know the football knowledge that I do and say that it was one without the other. It was just Jameis without Ken Dorsey. Because Jameis hopped in the game when Deshaun went out. And there was much of the same. There was misblocking. The offense didn't move smoothly until the end, even though we saw glimpses of it. And I wasn't sure about the offense, even when Jameis was in there and he got in at the end after DTR. But for me, you can't have one without the other. I think this offense, it requires a Jameis Winston Flacco type pocket passer. It requires somebody who doesn't have the mobile skills because that's not Stefanski's offense. That's not Ken Dorsey's offense right now. I think whenever they have to put the mobility of the quarterback into the offense, it screws it up. It weighs on them in a way that doesn't allow them to throw the ball down the field like they need to. So I would say you can't have one without the other. It was Ken Dorsey's involvement, his play calling, and coupled with Jameis Winston coming there and balling out, going for over 20 points a game.
You always say it always comes down to coaching.
300 yards.
Always comes down to coaching.
And coaching, because it could have went a different way. The game, he could have threw picks. Those were interceptions. You can't negate that. If the Baltimore Ravens catch a few of those picks, we're not here today with a happy face. We're not happy.
That's all true, but Josh, the thing is, that comes with throwing the ball downfield, and that comes with getting. Like, I would much rather have that, and I'd rather have weeks where I'm coming here and kicking myself, rather than having to watch an offense that can't move the ball.
Ryan said it's Jameis out there doing all the work, Josh.
So, okay, 2-1.
Forget the plays, man. Jameis out there.
Biggest impact for the Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. I have to add this before we go to commercial, that last season, Deshaun came back against Baltimore Ravens for a big-time win.
Oh, yeah.
So I think at any moment, I'm just throwing that out there.
Just throwing it out there.
Not that I think everything is good now. I just want to see more consistency. I need to see another week of this. Like, I don't want to see a one-off.
I told you.
And to see that one victory against the Baltimore Ravens, now we like,
I told
with the sour face, like, So we're going to ride high. We're going to let this. But the players, they put it past them already. They got to move on.
Question, Josh, why did Steve, our son's barber, he's a Steelers fan, he wanted us to win? What's that about?
Because it helps the Steelers. He's a Steelers fan. And the Steelers now, which we'll talk about later, 6-2.
Yes.
And we made the Ravens look bad, so I think that moved them up to 1 in the division, losing to the lowly Browns. So that helped the Steelers out. And with that,
what you mean good game? I hope you have a good game today. I was like, huh?
Right.
What's going on? Right.
Threw us for a loop right there. The Steelers fan won. The
like
Browns
Steve been
fan
smoking that stuff, man. Right.
Exactly, man. And was it his birthday too?
It was Steve. Shout out to Steve. Yeah,
man.
He enjoyed his birthday.
And I would
on
never
Sunday.
usually do that, but he's my son's barber, and he just happens to be
him and his lovely wife Jerry.
Squealer fan.
Let me be right back, you guys. Don't go anywhere. All right, now you guys, welcome back to the show. Now, Josh,
okay,
I feel like we're not done with the Browns.
No, we're not done.
Okay,
so much has transpired. So much has happened. I have questions. We need answers.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, what do we do? What should we do moving forward? Should Ken Dorsey stay the play caller for the remainder of the year over Kevin Stefanski? Like, since Jameis Winston is not I'm going to hold off. I got a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah.
But first, should Ken Dorsey stay the play caller?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no point in turning it back over to Kevin. I mean, you saw it work. You beat a great defense. I understand that the Ravens' passing defense isn't the greatest. In fact, it's one of the worst in the league. But still, you saw the offense finally moving. You saw them doing what they wanted to do. You saw receivers being able to dictate the game. That's what you need to do to win. And Ken Dorsey orchestrated that beautifully Sunday. Now, this isn't me saying that Kevin Stefanski wouldn't have done the same thing. But listen, I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. Do I think he would have? Yes. But right now, as it stands, 100%. If it's not broke right now, you finally fixed it. Right. Keep it going that way.
That's what I was going to say.
But he just said you thought Stefanski would have had the same success if he was been okay.
So
under Winston.
I say this to you, Maria, looking at it outside in, again, with your football knowledge that it is, you're a fan. The Browns won under this guy. Do you keep him or you keep because Coach Stefanski take the reins back because it's his niche.
Keep it until he start messing up. If it ain't broke, Don't try to fix it. Go ahead and keep Ken Dorsey in there and make it do what it do. Now, if he start messing up, go ahead and put Stefanski back up in there.
And that's my question to you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a playoff team. I can see if we go on a run for us and we just don't lose no more. And it's overshadowed Flacco fever by far. I mean, I'm going to have to give me a Jameis Winston jersey.
Yeah.
But if this is not a consistent theme for the remainder of the year, let's say for the next 2 to 3 games.
Okay.
Does Kevin Stefanski, Coach Stefanski, step back in like, all right, son, I got it from here.
Dang, go son.
That's a good question. I think that's probably a certain possibility. I mean, unless things go completely belly up and then you're like, oh, I want to go see what DTR can do, although I don't think he's the answer. I guess, yeah, you would turn it back over to Stefanski. I mean, at that point, the season would totally be lost, obviously. It already kind of is. You're looking at, I think it was like a 4% chance to give the Browns to make the playoffs right now. But I mean, listen, Jameis is, you're going to go right now. The rest of this season, at least, you're going to go as Jameis goes.
But what if, we still lose, but how we lose? If we lose greatly, the back and forth, the offense stays competing, the offense stays scoring, but we lose. Does that change your mind as opposed to staying with Jameis and staying with Ken Dorsey as well? Does that change things?
Heck, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd have to see how it plays out, but I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, if we lose some good games, yeah, like if it's, the nail biters at the end, of course, all right, we couldn't help that.
You agree with that, Ryan? Like, keep them if the games are good, regardless if we win or lose. Keep Jameis in there.
100%, yes.
And keep the Ken Dorsey calling the plays.
I mean, that's up for debate. I mean, I think right now, don't get me wrong, I have all the faith in Kevin Stefanski as a play caller because I've seen him do it for 4 years now, and I know he's good at it. I know he's elevated quarterbacks to make them look great when we know they're not, and I've seen him win games like the 49ers with P.J. Walker. That's impressive. I know he can do it. So whether we go back to him, I don't think it matters. I would like to see, if it does go belly up, I'd like to see it go back to Kevin so we can prove to everybody, remind everybody that for some reason they have the shortest memory in the world and remind them that he's a 2-time coach of the year for a winner.
People do.
And he's still supposed to be the Browns head coach. I hope moving forward.
People have the shortest memory in the world.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, they still call for his head. Coach Stefanski, and this is what people have to understand, 2-time coach of the year recipient. Him and Andrew Berry just got a re-up, a contract re-up. So my next question is, since Jameis Winston is not the future, he's not the future of this team, no matter how good he does. Remember how Flacco played.
Why not?
He's not the future.
Why is he not the future? If he goes up there and say he balled out the rest of the season.
He's had a career. Flacco balled out the rest of the season.
They still got rid of him.
Led us to the playoffs. But it was his age. And they know the body of Jameis Winston work. Now, I think if he keeps pulling out these games like he does in this same fashion, but again, Joe Flacco did some of the same things. Yeah. And so my question is, since he's not the future, do we allow Ken Dorsey and Deshaun Watson a full offseason and Deshaun is the next guy? Like, if we keep putting up points, we got to say this. Let's say this. Ken Dorsey is our guy moving forward. I think Coach Stefanski can give up play calling if we're just this team. This offense goes from worst to damn near first. And if Deshaun is our guy, do we give them a full offseason?
So the problem is,
I know that's funny.
The problem is Deshaun Watson's not our guy. Listen, I mean, we talk about evidence that I have enough to prove Kevin Stefanski's a great coach. I've had more than enough evidence that Deshaun Watson is not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL ever again, as unfortunate that is for him. Listen, the road to success is right now you ride with Jameis Winston. If he's good, if he continues this pace, you bring him back on another 1-year deal. What you do is you probably draft a first-round quarterback. You stay Jameis Winston to bridge that gap, as much as you don't like that, Josh, because we've seen that pain happen time and time again.
First-round quarterback
that is the only answer. As painful as it is to go back to that well and keep drinking that water, which seems like poison, you got to hope eventually it gets filtered out. That's the only way forward because you're not going to do anything with Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
It's been proven.
Okay.
So y'all want another first round?
Yeah, Maria's been there
QB?
through it too. Another one?
There's no other option. They don't grow on trees.
Okay, so in that case,
when it comes to Deshaun Watson, I need my money's worth though. I'm not letting you go, baby.
That's my next question.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
Kevin Stefanski
and work to do here.
Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. I just said it.
They just got
They just had a renewed contract.
So somebody got some money.
As it relates to business, the business of football, can they afford not to play Deshaun Watson? Can they afford to?
No, they
not
cannot.
to play him.
No, they cannot afford it.
Well,
this is your team, Ryan. Can
yes.
you afford? I think he's due like over 100 million.
Listen, you don't have to cut him.
100
I understand
million.
that. You don't have to cut him
So
because
he's
of how
gonna
you're
be
buying
on
with
the
the
bench
contract.
making
Yeah, you tell him to stay
making all that
home,
money?
and you make him the third quarterback emergency, and you tell him to stay home. I'm so serious, Josh. He
you're
will
speaking
never
like
be
a
good
fan.
again.
Ryan.
It's not me speaking like a fan. I understand. Just because you paid him the money, I understand you can't get out of the contract, doesn't mean you have to keep playing him. Nobody's forcing you to keep playing him. The sunk cost fallacy, you already wasted this entire season by starting him this long when you can clearly see, and I'm not saying Jameis Winston is the answer and going to lead us to the playoffs, but you saw what can happen when you have a competent quarterback. Deshaun Watson was clearly the issue. You don't have to play him. As much as you paid him the money, you don't have to play him.
I wish that was the business
Has
of
Ryan
football.
ever been down to Christie's? You ever been down to Christie's in the flat?
What
you ever paid for a dance? And then the girl walk, and then the person, I don't know, girl, whoever down to Christie's nowadays, and they walk off after you done paid them for a dance. You want your money worth. I just pay. I can't get my dance. I can't get my
bad. I don't care if she ain't doing it for you. You
Ryan,
already
have you
paid.
been to Christie's?
And you gonna sit there, Ryan?
Okay, but if I can pay just another $10, I already paid $1,000 for a worse dance, or excuse me, what
now
you
we
think
talking
would be a worse
millions.
dance, but it'd be way better in reality. Then you know what? I'm gonna go spend the extra 10 instead of sitting here and trying to get what I know is impossible just because I
Okay.
wasted time and money on it.
So again, the question is,
Yes.
can Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, because it might be a separate one, can they afford it to not play Deshaun Watson? Will one of them have to go? This is a huge mistake. This is $100 million mistake.
Right.
If you're not playing, if Deshaun Watson isn't your starter, and look, I know about money because I was the best receiver at one point, but I was the return guy. I was paid as the returner, and I was the better receiver. They didn't let me start at receiver. I started one game, and somebody in upper management, that's our returner who makes this. That's our guy who makes this. He has to start. It wasn't about money. And I know a lot of our fans will be like, what the? This guy does this guy does this. But that's not football because you can't escape the business aspect of it. Do they keep their jobs? Either Andrew Berry, love him to death. He pulls rabbits out of a hat just like Kevin Stefanski.
Got us some
Is
good-
this a
good
job-altering decision to not have Deshaun Watson as your starter?
I mean, yet personally, I don't listen. Kevin Stefanski, from what I understand,
It's tough, ain't it?
he didn't. Honestly, I don't think it's that tough because what I'm about to say is, Kevin Stefanski doesn't pick who he coaches. He's there to coach the players. Give
So
them to
he's
him.
safe.
He's safe.
So Andrew Berry is the
if
one out.
anybody should get fired, if it was truly Andrew Berry that signed off on this, listen, he's the general manager, and this is now the worst deal or worst contract in NFL history. And if somebody has to lose a job, no question, it should be Andrew Berry over Kevin Stefanski. And unfortunately, you can't fire the owner.
Because he signed off
He
on
tried
it.
to put him as an option as well.
Yeah, because he signed off on it. That's what's up, man. Those are all my questions I had.
I mean, those are some really good questions.
When we line them
it's
up-
up to the viewers now. What y'all think?
Yeah.
You know?
That's something. Who should get fired for that if Deshaun Watson is not the starter? And we got to remember, we know what the fans want. We just want to win, baby. Just
Period.
win.
That's all we want to do.
But that's not football. That's not NFL football. There's the money aspect of it. We're on the line for that money. And if Jameis is not the guy, and we have to go to the first round to pray at the well again, throw that money in the well.
Just
I
start
think
wishing.
somebody might be on the chopping block or not. I don't know.
All
But
I
with
know is
that,
I paid you that much money, you gonna play, baby.
That's how I feel. but maybe not the fans say otherwise. With that, we'll take another
Be right
commercial
back.
break.
All right, now you guys, welcome back to the show. Now that was tough, Josh. You asked some serious questions
Yeah.
right there. You got me thinking because you don't when you're doing contracts like that. I'm sure Andrew Berry. I mean, you didn't know he was gonna come out here and have all these issues.
We thought we
and
was
then
gonna
the
get that
Achilles.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it. I get
so,
it.
I mean,
It's
fans,
unfortunate.
what do y'all think? I do want to ask y'all this though,
Okay.
and Ryan, you can chime in if you want. Have y'all ever had a lover go through your phone? Someone you're dating?
No, because I would never allow that. So no.
Yes.
What you mean you would never allow him?
He
My girl's at the FBI, baby. We gonna get up in that.
Nobody. He wouldn't want it. Like he wouldn't say, "Here's my phone."
Because I'm not that there would be anything, but it's a foundational principle issue. Would you go through your lover's mail?
If
Yeah,
it's
she
check,
does
if it's a
that.
check in there, yes.
She does
Why
that,
not?
Ryan.
No,
I be-
Ryan.
I be like,
Ryan,
"What you
no,
open
I'm
my
playing.
mail for?"
Ryan, have
And
you
it starts
ever?
arguments. I'm like, "Why you?
Yeah.
Why is my mail open?"
He's playing. He's totally
I'm
playing.
not playing at all.
Ryan,
She opened it
he
the
is
other day.
playing. Ryan.
She opened it the other day.
So
and was
you've
looking
never
at my
went through
checks.
anybody's phone, Ryan?
No.
Matter of fact, Maria has stolen she has deposited checks
Don't be saying
before.
stuff like that on the. No, I have not. I have
FBI,
not.
come get her.
Slander and defamation.
Come get her.
Ryan, how many have you ever? What's your longest relationship you've been in?
Honestly, only 6 months.
That's what, because he, you know what I'm saying, but you know.
Well, ask the daggone question, man.
I just wanted to know if you guys know that it is technically illegal to search, to snoop, to go into your significant other's phone, whether you're dating,
they
married.
Put that out there like
That's
that.
what I'm saying. It's like
You see-
going
I
through
seen
their
on the
mail.
shade room.
It's like going through their mail.
Yeah.
It's a
You know how
federal
many people
offense.
do that? Like, would you press charges on someone for going through your phone?
I mean, it depends. Like, if I was dating somebody that went through my phone, I just break up with them.
And this
You
is
would just break. How heartless are you? Because they went through your phone, you just gonna break up with them?
Yes, because if
Did you ever love them?
Insecurity.
because
Privacy.
it's the principle of there's clearly no trust in the relationship, and once you don't have
because
that,
you always out
and
at
if
the
you
bar,
don't, and if
you're
you
not
don't
at
have,
home with me, so I don't trust you. So I did snoop to see what's going on.
Well,
And
y'all-
actually, I found something. Because Ryan, you're not that innocent.
Deuces.
You're a man. You a man. You ain't that
Deuces.
innocent, Ryan.
Look, Ryan.
I'll see
deuces.
ya.
I'm out.
I'll see you.
See you. Peace.
Josh.
So this happened at in a court of law. A man and woman was getting divorced, and the woman had all the text messages, and the
Unreal.
lawyer was presenting the text messages in court, and the other man's lawyer was like, "Oh, they just broke the law," and they had to cite the case where you can't go through your man's phone. That is against the law, Privacy Act, and he got everything in the divorce. He got the house, the car, the money to settle, so she wouldn't owe more to him.
Love to see it.
So I'm a very secure woman. Would you attest to that?
No. Now she's secure. But there was a time.
I'm an Aries.
Back at
We don't
Kent
get
State
jealous. I'm an
University,
Aries. We don't get jealous.
where I was using the restroom, Ryan. I'm sitting there relieving myself.
What?
I'm
This is
I'm
too
in
much.
around like,
I want to hear this story at this
she
point.
said she came with the phone. Who was this? As soon as I look,
It's gonna be something
domestic
dramatic.
violence.
It's gonna be something.
Knock me into the
Are
tub.
you? He is not.
You knocked me into the
he
tub,
is
Ryan.
Playing, Josh.
I am not playing, but
Is that where the bruise was?
right there, on the temple.
He is making.
And every now and then, I kind of gotta look out the corner, give her the shark eye,
Yeah.
to make sure she
He's
ain't
so
coming.
scared of me. Josh, have you ever went through someone's phone?
Yes,
So
not with the intention like you saying.
So why would you be doing it? Because I'm questioning. Now I'm
not for what
questioning.
you're saying though.
Now I'm questioning. Has Ryan ever truly been in love? If he wasn't,
Why does
like,
that matter
"Let me see
about
what she got."
him? If
Because
why he couldn't take her out
I'm
of?
concerned for Ryan.
Why he
Would
can't?
you say that's abnormal to not at least be curious about what's going on somebody's phone?
No,
Well, that's two different things. Yeah,
that's
you
two
can be
different
curious,
things.
but doesn't mean you have to act on it and go
yeah.
through somebody's phone. Those
Right.
are two completely
That's
different
two,
things.
and
If
that's
somebody
invasion
is
of privacy.
if
You're right,
somebody
Ryan.
is because look, the privacy is invaded. You can use the law when you use it to like win in courts.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go through it to say, "Oh, you cheating? You can't sue. You can't sue if that's the reason
Ryan
you
over here.
If that's the reason you divorce me and try to take my money, I'm gonna sue you."
I'm so focused on
It gotta
not
be
what you're
Because
saying.
Maria, let me ask you this: because then what happens in the scenario where you're going through let's say you're going through your significant other's phone,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find out what they've been doing that night, why they've been sneaking off, and let's
Sneaking
say
off?
let's say they've been doing this they've been preparing this amazing proposal, and you just went on
And
your
you
phone
blew
and
it.
ruined
You
it
blew
for
it.
you.
and
Which
you blew
happens
it.
a lot.
But now, that's true.
Which
That's true.
happens a lot.
But Ryan, the person you were with for 6 months, say, okay, I'm assuming by maybe month 3, you guys were still in a good place. I'm not going to say
Sure.
month 5 or 6. And you found out they went to your phone. Instant breakup?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Heartless.
3 months in,
100%.
100%.
What?
Who are
Let
you
me-
to go through my phone 3 months in?
All right, man. Let's get off before we
Okay.
start doing too much. I
Okay.
want to do this real
Go
quick.
ahead.
The statue.
Oh, let's go to the
statue.
break. Let's go to the
Okay,
break.
let's
We
go
gotta go
to
to
a
another
break real
break?
quick.
Okay, we'll be right
Yeah.
back. Don't go anywhere. All right, you guys, welcome back to the show. Now, Josh, did you see that Dwyane Wade got honored with a beautiful statue from the Miami Heat?
The whole world saw it. And I don't know about beautiful statue. Look at that picture right there. Is that Dwyane Wade? Is that Dwyane Wade? That look like Dwyane Wade, the anime, like he was stuck in as the Star Wars character. You know when Han Solo was that Han Solo that was stuck in the Star
Yes, so
I
Jabba.
Yes, that looks like he was. Look at the pictures, man.
That
Oh,
looks. Look what? Oh, why they do that?
how would y'all feel if this happened to you? If they was honoring you with a statue? That
Who
is
are
not
they
Dwyane
hiring
Wade.
to do these statues, Josh?
it
would
looks
be
like a
upset,
joke.
wouldn't you?
I would be upset. I'll be thinking y'all pranked me.
I think they tried to get an action shot
I would think y'all pranked me. Action shot.
because that's what it looked. I don't know.
Why is his eyes so close together?
I don't know. I think even he even saying something bad about it. Like,
Yes,
what is
he
it? Who is this
hated
guy
it.
behind me?
I would be mortified
I
if
think
that
it needs
happened.
to be a protocol.
I
mean,
would be mortified.
Yeah.
How could that happen, Ryan? I'm sure that statue
Horrible.
cost so much money.
Horrible.
Ryan,
Go get
how
your
would
money
you
back.
feel?
Miami
And what
Heat,
would,
go get your money back.
Look at it.
Go get your money back now.
Yeah, I'd be beside myself. But like, it's like when Dwyane Wade, let's say it's unveiling it, right? To me, is like reminds me of when let's say I go get a haircut and the barber's like about to finish, like, oh, how do you like it? And I'm like, oh, it looks great. You know, like you truly you want to start crying and running out of the shop, but you can't do anything about it. So you just be like, yeah, it's
Can't do
good.
anything about it.
No.
It's permanent.
No, they mess your haircut up and you got to sit there for
That
all
don't
them
look-
days.
that
Like,
don't
nah,
look like
bro, I
him.
thought you was going, I wanted this.
They need to
and you show
audition
them a
some-
rendering or a picture. I wanted this. Look at that statue. Dwyane Wade and his family got to walk through to the games to look at that. I would say just take it down, bro. Just take it down and put a poster up.
There is a Cleveland native
laughable,
named
man.
Sharmir. You probably know Sharmir's last
Yes.
name. He does the statues of Nipsey
Hussle,
Hussle,
right.
Medea. They need to start hiring him. They need
We're
some
gonna
new
put him.
people.
We're gonna put some of his
Please,
work on the
please
show
clip
next
in here
time.
because it's a
Yeah.
mess. You guys, we love you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you right back here next
Go
time
Dogs,
on The
baby.
Return with Josh and Maria
Hoo,
Cribs. See
hoo,
y'all.